Hi. Well, it's Christina again, and I'm sorry I was a little bit late last time on my last video because, I don't know, the rush of Christmas and all that, and we kind of didn't get it loaded in time. But anyway, I hope a lot of what I said was of interest. But anyway, I guess moving on, you know, life is a journey, isn't it? And a journey that we traverse and think we're on top of it, but a lot of people aren't. And over the years, I have met so many well-known people that, you know, everybody has an issue, everybody has a problem. It's not just us, is it? It's just, and particularly as age goes on. Age is a tough number, right? It doesn't make you feel good to say the age you are, and half the time you try and pretend it isn't that age, but it is, because people know our friends, and our friends diminish. We don't have as many friends as we had. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. And confidence, I think, as you get older, becomes less because you don't have all the infrastructure behind you. All that we went through when we were young, which we just accepted and took for granted. But it's not there, is it? And I'm sure you miss friends as much as I do. And you think, oh gosh, that person's not there anymore. And I wanted to say something to them, and I can't. But anyway, what I wanted to say was, I am so lucky in my life because all the incredible people I've met throughout it. I mean, I started off at 15 as a beauty queen, and somewhere I had a photograph of that, but I'll show you that next time. But that's a very early start, and I was a very naive 15-year-old. But subsequently, life unfolded, and I did more beauty competitions and made myself quite a star in that area. And today that's not quite how it is it? But I mean, when I think about my life and the people I've met, I mean, I sat only a seat away from the Queen at a dinner table at the Canadian High Commission. Who does that? It was pretty daunting, and you were only supposed to really speak when you were spoken to, which made conversation pretty hard, but you did, and you engaged her, and you realized that she did this all the time, but she always pulls the table in, and that was really quite extraordinary. The Duke of Edinburgh was there. He was always very arrogant and always knew you, but particularly if you were a pretty woman, which is quite funny actually. But he always made that sort of effort. But I don't know, you know, moving on, I went on a wonderful charity to Highgrove, which was then the home of Princess Diana and, as then, Prince Charles. The home was amazing. It wasn't grand or anything like that. It sat in beautiful gardens, and we were allowed to go through it. And what really struck me was the boots by the front door. The feeling of that it was all like a home and a family. And that, of course, was when everything was good. And my daughter-in-law said, you know, you have to speak to Princess Diana. And I'm thinking, like, we're all engulfed with her extraordinary charisma, and one kind of didn't. But I saw her walking towards me in Highgrove, and I had to move forward, and I had to say, Princess Diana, thank you so much for entertaining all of us. Your home is wonderful. And she was delightful. Of course, we all knew that. And she said, it's my pleasure. I love to have you all here because it's for a wonderful charity, which was the Prince's charity. So this is just one episode of my life. I sat watching Pavarotti in Regents Park, and I was but 2 rows behind her and Prince Charles then. And it's pouring with rain, but Pavarotti continued to sing. It was the most extraordinary experience, and I know it has been well written. We weren't allowed to put umbrellas up because that would have spoiled the view from the people behind us. So we sat there in the rain. I think we had maybe a raincoat or plastic bags around us, but sure, it was hell on the hair. But of course, you were young then, you know, you were young, and it didn't matter. It was just unbelievable experience. And to listen to that man sing, can you imagine what that was like? And I remember afterwards, because there was a dinner afterwards, and we went inside, and I thought, I'm going to be really cheesy here and get his autograph from the program, which of course I did, and he was just sitting there, delighted to sign as many autographs as he could. But that man was unbelievable. That voice was extraordinary. And I don't know, when you think back, these were episodes in your life, in my life, which I just almost took for granted. I mean, it's a bit like some of the films I did. I mean, working with Roger Moore, the charm, the elegance, the humor. The man had such humor that he'd always have everybody laughing. And he had time and patience. I was so young then, but it didn't seem to matter to him. It was just, you were all part of the crew and you just played along. So, I don't know, maybe many of you haven't heard of Mel Ferrar, but Mel Ferrar was married to Audrey Hepburn. And I remember being there and he went up to the director and said, "How's Audrey?" And I remember thinking, oh my God, he means Audrey Hepburn. I mean, you're so impressed with those things, as you would be now and you would have been then. And life went on. I've been to 10 Downing Street. I walked up those stairs. I've been in that front door, met the Prime Minister then. Pretty heady stuff, I guess, but you know, you're young and you're all part of what's going on in the London scene. You're meeting people all the time. The Brian Ferries are in the nightclubs, the Twiggy's wandering around being photographed. I was actually never photographed with her, which many women weren't, models weren't, because she had this really rather extraordinary look, as I'm sure you know, and we didn't kind of fit in with her. She had her own look, and I mean, it's still an extraordinary success story, and she was so young as well. But we were all young, you know. I don't know, when I look back, I think to myself, wow, those were times, giddy times in the 60s, the King's Road, Carnaby Street, the Stars, the Beatles, the this, the that. In fact, the Beatles album was on a street that I lived on. You remember that crossroads on that cover? Well, I lived opposite that. You just accept it as one of those things that it was the street that they were on. I never met them, I never saw them, but I mean, that was the Beatles, you know, that was life then. And it was a life that really, does it happen now? It's very different now. We've been through so much. I'm just trying to think of who else I could have met that I really wanted to talk to you about. But I guess the basis of this is that everybody has a problem. Everybody has a problem. Nobody's as confident as you think they are. Do you think that Pavarotti was that confident? Look at his life. He died very young. I can't remember the exact age, but this was not an old man. But I mean, health and obviously their extraordinary ambition to have got to that position. But we're all nervous. We're all uneasy. You think I'm confident? Yeah, a bit, but sometimes I'm really not, as you are. So the path of life is long and hard, and I think it gets harder as we get older. But we have to have confidence. And confidence only comes in believing in yourself. I spoke to a doctor friend of mine who's like a naturopath doctor. He said, stay in the present. And I'm thinking, what does he mean? He means don't look back and don't really look forward, because forward gets harder and back was so much easier. So there you are. I don't know what this is a conversation about. Confidence, feeling good, wanting to be in the present. Yes, yes, yes. So on that note, I'll get back to things like fashion and my eyes next time, which is another ongoing story, which is going to be fascinating for everybody. But I just wanted to say bye for now, and I'm so glad and I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you from Christina. Bye.